And we are back, and we just finished watching 2023's The Holdovers, rated R, with a runtime of 2 hours and 13 minutes. This is directed by Alexander Payne with a script by David Hemingson. This also includes Paul Giamatti as Paul, who is also nominated for Best Actor in this upcoming Oscar race. He gave such a great performance.
Yeah,
he's such a
good
guy. I mean, it's kind of unfortunate because it's probably going to go to Cillian Murphy, who is also a fantastic actor, but I have loved Paul Giamatti for as long as I can remember. There's just something about him that is very relatable, that is very endearing. He always, like, whatever he's selling, I'm buying, kind of. I always feel like in everything I've ever seen him in.
Yeah, and he's
even
like,
as Ben Franklin on those Verizon commercials.
I mean, he's super versatile.
He's great.
He could play like a sad sack. He could play
somebody
hard
menacing.
ass.
Yeah,
he could play somebody menacing. He could play somebody soft and endearing. He's just good.
Yeah, he's fantastic. This is currently for streaming on Peacock. And also stars divine Joy Randolph, who's also been racking up nominations and wins, I think, for her portrayal as Mary Lamb, the kitchen manager who also unfortunately lost her son in the Vietnam War. Mm-hmm. And also introduces Dominic Sessa as Angus Tully, this angry young man who you get to know more as the story progresses, and you start to, I mean, at least I did. I don't know about G. We'll have to figure out if she still disliked Angus immensely as she did at the beginning of the story. This is the story again of Paul, the teacher who is unfortunately stuck babysitting the holdovers. Those are the kids at the boarding school that don't have anywhere to go because their parents are MIA. And as we open up the story, Angus's character is actually on the cusp of leaving, but then gets bad news at the last minute and becomes a holdover himself. I'm going to go around the table and get impressions. I'm going to start with you. What'd you think?
I thought this was great. This is a very sweet story, well told. Everybody did a great job in the performances. Everybody had an interesting story to tell. The relationship that formed between Angus and Paul.
And even Mary,
but it's mainly
Angus and Paul.
Mainly Angus and Paul, and the sort of like how he basically becomes a father figure to this kid because he just doesn't have that really.
No,
I mean he's left behind basically at the school.
Yeah,
because his mom wanted to go on a honeymoon.
Yeah,
so that was kind of
unfortunate
for him.
Yeah,
and in the beginning he's not a likable kid. But by the end, you really Paul Giamatti isn't very likable either.
Most of the students hate him, apparently.
Apparently, when the student parent, also a lot of the teachers hate him too.
You've got to know that.
His boss doesn't particularly care for him.
And then you find out that his boss was once his student, which I thought was hilarious.
Yeah. So, but over time, you really grow to care about these characters and see how they come to care for each other.
Yeah.
A really, really good story.
Yeah. Just broken people finding each other and uplifting each other. It was really great. Gee, what did you think of the film?
It was really, really good.
Did you continue to dislike Angus?
No.
What was like the turning point of, because you strongly disliked him in the beginning, right?
I don't even remember disliking him.
No.
You out loud said, "Oh, this kid's horrible."
Oh yeah. Oh.
We also disliked Kuntz.
Kuntz is
irredeemable
scum.
Yeah. I love that we can all agree on that.
I didn't like Angus because he told that little Asian kid friends are overrated. I mean, it's not that I was like, I disliked him. I just thought he was like a massive loser. I thought,
Fair enough. I mean, I think you're supposed to think that.
Overrated, it's over for you.
Yeah. I think you're supposed to think that. I don't think you're supposed to go into this story liking Angus.
No.
Yeah.
He's snotty.
He's annoying.
He basically screws over the entire class.
Oh my gosh. I don't think he meant to.
He didn't mean to, but he ends up doing it. Yeah.
It's better to just keep your mouth shut with a teacher like that.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. Did you have a favorite character?
I like Mary.
Mary's great. Why'd you like Mary?
She was already, you started off the movie, you weren't like, oh God, this lady's terrible. You felt bad for her, and she was likable. Like, I like how she never, she kept it real with Paul, and she was like, she would just say stuff like, well, you can't say these things to these kids.
Yeah, she was sort of like the voice of reason at times on his shoulder. Although she has a pretty impactful scene, which is also heartbreaking at the same time. Olive G, what did you think of the film?
I thought it was good.
Yeah, you thought it was good. What did you have a favorite character?
The lunch lady.
The lunch lady. Mary. Did you feel bad for Mary? Don't give away. Yeah. Did you think that things without giving it away, did you think that the end was going to happen like it was going to happen?
No.
Okay. Yeah, we don't want to spoil this because it's still kind of brandy new, right?
Well, it's not really spoiling anything because they say it in the synopsis what Mary's situation is.
True. But I don't want to spoil like the end of this film, like what happens at the end.
Oh, no. We're not going to spoil the end or where all the characters.
Yeah, because there's a reason. Well, I mean, obviously, these kids are kids of privilege, right? And they have somewhat easier lives than other people. But again, everybody has a story. And I think that's what Alexander Payne and the writer David Hemingson do so well here. They illustrate how you think one thing about people, but then you wind up being shown something else so that your opinion of these people changes. It's different because it's like you go into this thinking, well, these are all rich kids, right? They don't deserve my pity. But then as the story progresses, you're given a little bit of background into these characters and even Paul, the teacher's character. And it changes you because by spending this time with these characters, by going on this journey and through the storytelling process, you come to understand these people more. You come to empathize. You develop compassion for them because they're all struggling in a way.
Yeah, and it's great how by taking these characters and putting them together, each character has a chance to learn and grow from the other characters. Mm-hmm. And seriously, there's some great story arcs for everybody in this movie.
Absolutely. Just really well done.
Yeah, exceedingly well done. This is an expertly crafted story.
There are poignant pieces in the storytelling, but there's also really sharp, funny things that happen as well.
Yes.
And
he's got some
zingers.
Good jabs and zingers. Yeah. It's funny, he definitely comes off as this like real pompous nerd. like I knew kids in high school or even junior high school who would try and act superior by using big words and like saying stuff that nobody understood. Mm-hmm. And that's what Paul would do. He would just bust out with Latin. He would like be making like comparisons to, I don't know, the Peloponnesian War or something like that, or Cicero, or I don't know.
He was a huge history nerd.
He was a huge history nerd.
Yeah.
And I mean, that was his life. I mean, he was happy. That was his dream of they were like, what would you have done if you weren't stuck here? And he'd be like, oh, I would be in my apartment reading.
Yeah.
And what's the difference?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know if it's not really a spoiler, but like one of my favorite scenes is like at the little bowling alley when he's telling the Santa, he's like, your costume's inaccurate.
Yeah.
It's like, what?
Historically inaccurate. You should be wearing sandals.
And they're both looking at him like, what in the hell are you talking about?
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, and that's, I've known kids like that, and it's, you hope that at some point they grow out of that sort of thing, but I guess Paul never did. But through his experience, he definitely by the end of the movie seemed to be a more empathetic person.
Yeah. I feel like I think if things had turned out differently, I think he would have been different in the classroom as well. I don't want to spoil it. I feel like
yeah, no, we don't have to give any details as to the end. Just in the fashion of a good movie, the characters are changed by the end.
Yes,
absolutely. That's all we'll say.
Yes.
And everybody is changed in such a satisfying way.
Exactly.
And it's just a great story. You feel good at the end. It can be a little bittersweet at times. everybody has their little tragedies. Everybody has their little victories. It's seriously a beautiful story.
Agreed. What did you guys think about how everyone smoked in the 70s? Just every second of the day.
I mean,
It's very natural.
It's very natural.
I haven't seen that in movies from the 70s before.
Okay. I also shout out to, I guess, whoever made the call to put those little things in so that it felt very rooted in the 70s.
Oh, God, yeah.
Even from the beginning.
With like the rated R bit and the old, like, I don't even think Miramax ever had a logo like that. That was like a 70s Miramax logo.
It was.
And seriously, they really nailed the 70s. Like, even just the quality of the film, everything just seemed a touch fuzzy.
Yes.
Like as though it had aged in a bucket of urine. Like everything else from the 70s.
I love that that's your go-to description of 70s movies.
Yeah, everybody had terrible hairstyles.
Terrible clothes.
Yeah. They really like leaned into that. You had no doubt. I didn't even have to like see dates and stuff to be like, this is early 70s.
Yeah. There was a lot of music here, but it didn't piss me off.
I didn't even notice.
Yeah. I think the music also just blended well. Yeah, it wasn't too much. It wasn't too little. And I think that the song choices also lent themselves to the film. Yeah, it was really, really nice. Just from top to bottom, I agree with you 100%. It was gratifying. It was a very satisfactory storytelling experience. And I loved all the characters. And I was almost sad to see the movie end.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I wanted to know more like what happens with certain people.
Yeah, I mean that's a mark of a good film.
Yeah.
You care so much about these characters, you want to see where they go.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
It's like they're so changed that the world is like completely open and new to these people now.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to go around the table and get numbers. Olivia, I'm going to start with you. 1 to 10. What are you going to give The Holdovers?
7.
All right. What about you, Gigi?
I'm giving it a 9.
A 9. Excellent.
I think I'd also give this a 9.
I too would give this a 9. I would love for Paulie G to get that Oscar, but I think it's going to go to Cillian.
Yeah, there's a lot of money and power behind Oppenheimer.
Yeah, and just like
I barely know that this film came out last year.
Yeah,
this was a small release.
But you know what? Alexander Payne also did Sideways with Paul Giamatti. Did he win for that? Maybe he won for that.
I remember Sideways won a lot of stuff.
And then he won't get it this year. So maybe it will go to Cillian, who I've been mispronouncing his name as Cillian Murphy all these years.
Yeah, me too. Well, we'll see.
We'll see. I mean, fingers crossed. Although Coleman Domingo, I haven't seen Rustin, but I love him as an actor. Yeah, I'd love to see him get some. Jeffrey Wright's also fantastic. Always. That guy is just amazing. Who else is nominated? Bradley Cooper for Maestro, which
I don't think he'll get that.
I don't think he will either. I mean, he's really trying from what I've heard, but I think
I think that they're probably going to be like, oh, this guy's got plenty of time.
Yeah.
We'll get him another time.
Yeah, we'll get him eventually. We'll give him a pity Oscar like we did with the Scorsese.
Yeah, kind of. I mean,
he should have won for other movies.
He should have won for so many other movies. And
other than The Departed. I hate that movie.
I don't know if I hate it. It wasn't the best Scorsese movie ever made. I mean, there's so many other ones.
Yeah, but it's just, you know what? I feel like that was another movie that they blew so much smoke up its ass, and it's like, this wasn't as good as the original.
It wasn't as good? What do you mean?
Because isn't it based on like a Hong Kong movie?
Yeah, Infernal Affairs, but
exactly.
I never saw that one, so I don't know. I couldn't tell you. I mean, I thought it was okay. It just, it wasn't like, oh my God, this is the best picture ever. Really? No, I don't think so. That definitely was like they throw pity Oscars out every once in a while.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's all politics. I mean, the people
I love Jamie Lee Curtis, but there's no
she
way
didn't deserve
she
for that.
should have won for everything.
She deserved for her performance in The Bear, which was spectacular.
Oh, that's TV. Emmy.
But she was
amazing.
Bananas in that one episode.
Good
Holy
Lord, that was so uncomfortable.
It really was. It really was.
Oh my God.
It really, really was. And even in that last episode of the season where she makes a minor appearance, she's spectacular.
Yeah.
And it's like, I felt so bad for Nat's husband, who's just like, it doesn't know what to do.
No.
It's just so uncomfortable.
So uncomfortable. It's like the mental illness is just pouring
out of her.
Screen.
Yeah. My God. So yes. So the 5 nominees for Best Actor are Paul Giamatti for The Holdovers, Bradley Cooper for Maestro, Coleman Domingo for Rustin, Cillian Murphy for Oppenheimer, and Jeffrey Wright for American Fiction. I've got my fingers crossed for Paulie G. I don't think it's going to happen though, but at least we gave it a go.
I don't really care about the Oscars.
I know. I didn't even know. I don't really watch it anymore. So I was flabbergasted. I was like, oh, Olivia Colman won? I didn't know that.
Yeah,
what the hell? She has an Oscar? That's great. I love her. Anyway.
I don't think anybody cares about award shows anymore, really.
No.
Like the Emmys happened.
Yeah, they did.
Like,
or the Golden Globes. Well,
did that even happen? I don't even know if that one happened.
I think it did, didn't it? And because the other person that is getting buzz on this is Mary Lamb, played by Divine Joy Randolph. So I think she won something.
I couldn't care less about awards.
Okay, fair enough.
I think a lot of people don't anymore. I think they're like the ratings for those things are always in the toilet.
Yeah, I used to care.
Used to have like the big betting party.
Yeah, we used to have the big betting party. But now I'm just like, my heart's been broken so many times that it's like, F you, Oscars. I'd rather just read the nominations and then just get myself all in a dander about, how did this person win? All right, we're overstaying our welcome. And we're going to wrap it up. And that's it from us. And we will bid you all a
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Go, Paulie G. Good night.